Good morning, everybody. We're gonna finish up N6743. We ended at applying the interfacing. So we have to stitch the front band to the back band at the shoulder edge. So you're gonna have the two number 4s and one of the number 5s. And that's with the interfacing. And we're just going to stitch them at the seam right in here. So 1 4 is on one side and then the other side. Pins. And that's a 5/8 seam. So get both of those done. There's notches that you can line up. Okay, so you're gonna have something like this. Okay, let me get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, you can open up your seams and then you need to get your shirt. Okay, so you remember we gathered this. So we're gonna have to pull up our gathering for this to match. Let me get my camera down here. Okay, I gotta find my gathering threads here. And I might have to, I used my gathering foot, and I have a feeling I'm gonna have to do the zigzag thing on this. Because I don't think it's gonna, nope, start gathering. Okay, let me quickly go and do my gathering with the butcher twine. So this is the butcher twine I use, and you just zigzag it on. So let me get that done quick. Okay. The gathering foot works great when it's only one layer, but once you hit like your seams and stuff, it doesn't like to work. All right, so just gather this up. And you're gonna match your big dots, your notches. Usually go about halfway and then start my other side. Okay. With right sides together now, get your piece and match your notches. So I gotta find my notch. Around here somewhere. Oh, there's one. Okay. All right, there's one. In your end, well, your shoulder seam's gonna come right in the middle of this sleeve. And just try to get your 4 or 5 points done. So there's my other notch. See, so you're gonna have some left over. And then just start gathering one side first and get that where you want it to be. Be sure everything is up top and even. Then you can kind of play around with your gathering just to kind of make it even. Okay, and then go and do your next side. Okay. Okay, once you have it pinned, just come over and look on this side, the right side. And be sure everything looks gathered evenly. It's kind of hard to do because you do have the pins in, but just to get an idea. Okay, you're gonna sew this 5/8. And I usually just kind of stretch mine out a little. And if you need to put in extra pins, go ahead. Because you want to keep this right up to this edge, this raw edge. So it's better to have more pins than having it slip down. Especially around your corners. Okay. So get that sewn up. Okay, and I'll be right back. Remember to put your hand under here to be sure everything is flat when you're sewing it. So just go a little ways and put your hand back under. Okay, when you're done, just check to be sure all your shirt part is down, like you didn't, you know, pick up a piece or something and sew it into it. When you're happy with that, you can take your basting thread out. And then we're gonna layer this so you can cut one little section out of here on your seam. get this out. This is what you should have. So get your scissors and you can cut around here. And then you're going to press the band out, and you want it towards, you want your seam towards the band. So once you get this clipped off, press it up towards the band. It's gonna be really pretty. All right, let me get my scissors. Just be careful you don't cut your shirt. Okay. I'm actually gonna cut where all my gathering is. So cut around here, come back and press it upwards. Okay, come back to your sewing or your ironing board. I got a few little pieces of thread here, probably from my other gathering. Okay. And then just press this up. That whole seam. Okay, and then what I usually do is I come over here, and that seam is up. I'll just lightly press right up here, so I know everything is right. Okay, now get your pattern. We're gonna just baste on the little loop. Okay, and you will see a dot. So mine is right here. Bring it down just a little. Okay, and pin your loop, because once we turn this, we'll have our loop. So just baste that. I can find my basting thread. Okay, just baste this on. And baste it close to this edge, because that's what's going to be going under. So I actually want to bring that a little bit there, just a little bit closer. You want it edge to edge. So now we need to get the ruffles. This is going to go aside for a few minutes. We're done with this part. always have a little plastic bag with all my needles in it. So it's easier than trying to find them in a pin cushion. Okay, I can take that pin out. The ruffle is number 10. And you're going to sew all of these together. So you'll have one long strip. And it's 5/8. So you should have 3 of these. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to run and get a cup of coffee. And if you would please subscribe, share, like, thumbs up. And I'll be right back and we'll get the ruffle on, the rest of the neck, and then hemming, I think. And we have to sew a button on for the loop. And that's about it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And if anybody's interested, the shirt I'm wearing is $62.92. I have a video on that one too. And this is a really comfortable shirt. I love it. Okay, so let's get our ruffles sewn together here. Be sure they're going the right way. Okay. And then we have to iron these in half the long way and gather them. Okay, so let me get this done up. Okay, so just iron this wrong sides together. Open up your seams. And I'm gonna have to use the butcher twine because this is, my foot won't go through 2 layers. That's the only thing about the gathering foot. It doesn't go through 2 layers of material. So get these as even as you can. Okay, now we have to gather. So I make a pretty big gathering. And I take my string. And we just go down the whole thing. And then the next thing we need is a number 9. And we have to put some interfacing on it. So I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that done, just go and press your edge again. And I don't throw out my basting thread. I'll just roll it up. And I have a little container here with thread in it, or with the butcher twine in it, because a piece like this, that's a good piece. I don't want to throw out that basting. So just come back and just iron this so it's nice and flat. get your number 9. Let me find it in my mess here. Okay. And we need to interface one of these. So let me get my interfacing. And I always put the pattern back on the piece, just so I know. Okay, let me get my interfacing. I'm gonna have to get some more interfacing soon. And I'll pin it on. I have my bumpy side up, so once I get it cut and pinned, I can just iron it on, just the way it is right now. Okay, so what I'm using is Pellon 880F. It's soft shaped. This is what I use for all my clothing. Okay, let me get this pinned up and cut and apply to it. And I'll be right back. Like I mentioned before, don't throw out pieces of interfacing. I have a little, I don't know, cozy, I guess, full of interfacing. And these are great for little pieces, buttonholes, just anything you can think of. Okay, get your piece of pattern if you need to mark it again, which I do because of these heat pins. And place your pattern down and mark your number and check your notches that everything's right. Okay, and there's my notch. Turn this way, make that, and my notch. Yep, okay. This piece back on. There's actually another little dot we have to do. Okay. So right in here, and right here. So they're right here. So then start gathering up your ruffle here. And I try to do like half of it. Then you're going to pin this down. Your ruffle's going inwards. Is it going inwards? Yeah, it looks it. Okay, so you're gonna pin this. You want your raw edges together. So just take your time trying to get this all even looking. So I know 1.5 is going to be the middle. If I can find it. Okay, there's 1. There's 1. So half of that is going to be your middle. So I'm just going to put a safety pin right in the middle. So I know that is the middle of my neckline, because it's really hard to see my dots and stuff on this black. So just keep working this around. Be sure you give enough for your curve. Okay, let me get this all pinned up. So you want to get enough on your curve here. All right, let me get this going, and I'll be right back. Okay, I also put a pin. This is the middle right here of my collar. Right here. So I know once I get here, I got to fill in all this. Okay, so now I'll just start working this. And once we get this done, we'll sew this on. I think we put the piece on top of it. I'm not sure. I gotta look. You have to baste this on afterwards. All right. Okay, so let me get this done, and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that basted, get your other piece and right sides together. You're going to pin this on, the facing on. And then you're going to sew the unnotched side, which is this side. So before, or when I basted, I left my pins in. And pin this down. Go all the way around this whole section. and you're going to sew this. Now, when I basted, I was sure that all my ruffles were down. So pin this up. Get it as even as you can. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, stitch away. Go very slow because this is going through a lot of material. Just be sure everything is nice and straight and even. Five eighths. Okay. Okay, when you get done with that, you can take out your basting string. We're going to turn, we have to trim this all along here. Pull out your basting stitch. Then we have to turn it right side out. See if I can save my piece here. Probably not. Okay, well, we'll put that much in my bucket. I'll get it when we trim it. Okay, so I'm going to trim the side with all the ruffly on it. And then once we turn this right side out, we're going to press it. Press the ruffles out. And then this gets attached to the neckband. Let me get my scissors, and I'm just going to trim around here, and then I'll meet you at the ironing board. Okay, turn this the right way and iron this out. Try to get your edges even best you can, and your ruffles you can iron out. Okay, they want us to understitch, but I don't understitch stuff. What I'm gonna do is take some of my webbing, and I'm just gonna place it around here. You know, not too far in. Just a couple spots to make this stay flat, and then when we sew it, you can understitch if you want. I just want to keep this like just closed a little. And I just put it in. I mean, I don't put it like so far from whatever. I just throw a couple pieces in there just to kind of help it. Okay, do that. Okay, now you're going to pin this to the shirt. there's notches to follow. Big dots. Okay. Now remember, we still have these pieces to put on. So that will be right in here, which will cover up this. Okay. Okay, this is what you should have so far. And now we have to baste this on. Then we have to sew these together, which will be sewn on to cover up this. So let me get this basted in. But like that would be like your back. And then once this goes in, this will be like this. And this goes under here. You have a button. Okay, let me get this basted in. Okay, get both pieces of your, the 4 and 5s. And you're gonna sew these up. At 5/8. So you're gonna have a piece like this. And then you need to turn under 5/8. Right there. Press under 5/8 on the lower edge and then trim to 1/4. So, okay, let me get this sewn up. Okay, they want you to turn 5/8 over and then trim it to 1/4. Now, I'm not gonna trim till I know exactly that this is gonna work. Now we don't have much more. It's this, the hem, and the button. This is a weekend project. This is not like an evening project to do. There's just a lot of basting and sewing and then you're going to come back and you're going to pin this right sides together, matching your dots. See, once we sew this, that'll be turned in. So you're going to start sewing down here and then all the way around. So you have to pin this all along your neckline. And then you're going to sew it. I just want to be sure I have, yep. there's notches on this. Okay, there's one notch. Now I just gotta find my notch. It's gotta be around right here. Okay, so I just want to get those 3-4 points done. And there's my other notch. Okay, so get this all pinned up. I don't know if they want us to, let's see. Yeah, layer seam. So once we get this all sewn, we will take off like some of this seam and then turn it over, and then we'll be over here, and then we'll have to stitch that down. All right, let me get this done. Like I said, we're almost done, but this is a weekend project. This is not a, you know, like a shirt like this that we did in an evening. So just be ready for that. It is going to be very pretty though. Okay, there's that. All right, let me get this stitched up. 5/8. Remember, come up your sides. You don't catch your ruffle. And then we'll trim this up. We'll tack it down or sew it down. And then we're almost there. All right, so there I go. Okay, so just sew up, get your ends here. Now take your time again. You're going through a lot of material. So just take your time. Okay, this is what you should have. Right here. And we're gonna seam layer this. And then we'll turn this, get these nice and rolled, nice and flat. And then we'll sew up here, all the way around. And just go by and check down below here. I found one little spot. It must have been when I was layer seaming. I had just a tiny little hole. So we'll get that, but see, once you get your square corner out, there's your loop. Okay? All right, I'm gonna get my pinking shears to do this. You can, you know, cut also around your corners and layer seam. I'm just gonna get my pinking shears and do it. That way it also cuts my basting thread out of there. So just be sure you don't catch any of your facing. And just go around. I'm just getting my little tool here to push out my corner. And over here. Now we have to press this and get this the best you can, just as flat as you can, just like that, because you want a nice rounded neck. Then we'll come back and start pinning this down. And we'll have to flip up the collar and sew along here. Okay, let's do that. Ooh, that's pretty. I really like this one. Just roll this. And you might have to do it on the edge of your ironing board where you have a round spot, and steam. Just keep steaming it and rolling this. I need to get a little bit more water. Okay, then come to the inside here. This is where we're gonna tack down, sew down. You're supposed to trim it to 5 or to a quarter. I'm not doing that. I'm just folding over just a little bit more. And just get it nice and flat. And then press it. And then what I'm gonna do, besides pinning, I'm gonna take a little bit of my webbing and I'm just gonna put it in just a few spots to hold this down, so when we sew it, it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just taking a little piece and I'll put it down. Okay. And you kind of want to have this covering that stitch. You want it just over it. So about like right in there. About right in there. Then I'm just going to tack it down. Yep. And then I'll take my pin. And see where I am. Kind of sew in the ditch. All right, so I'm about 1/8 away from it, so I know. Okay, and I'm just going to keep along doing that. You can trim it if you want. Just bring it down, get everything nice and straight, pull it. Pull your ruffle and everything. And press and either pin or put in a little piece of webbing and then your pin. And I mean just a tiny, like 1 inch. And I'm just putting it like right near that seam that we trimmed. Okay, let me get this finished. Okay. And then we'll just come back and iron this out. Okay. So let me get this done and go check on my supper here. And I will return. Okay, once you have this all pinned up, go ahead and sew it all along your neckline. And then the only thing left is hemming and sewing the button on. So let's get this done. Okay, once you get that done, just press it out. It's essentially stitching in the ditch. I went out a little, but I'm not worried about it. The collar's gonna cover it. So just get that down again. Okay, now we have to hem it. I'm just gonna iron my whole shirt and then hem it. There. This way I know that hem will be straight. Okay, so all we have left is to hem this. I sewed my facing down, so when I turn it, once again, I'm just gonna cut out just a little edge right here. And that way it won't be a thick hem. So it's kind of like a narrow hem, so just turn over some and then turn it over again. And just get your clips. So I have to do this on both sides. I'm just taking just a little off. So once I turn it again, it's not as thick. Okay. And then clip. Don't forget you have to sew on your button. So get that done. All right, everybody, here it is. You're supposed to wear a cami under it. I have my Daisy bra, but there we go. Alrighty, that was N6743 part 2. And I have my little button up here. Well, thank you for sticking around for this one. I know it was a long video and part 2. But I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you have any questions about this pattern, feel free to text me, message me. I'll try to help you if I can. Tomorrow, I'll figure out something to make. I still have my black material and another material for a shirt. So we'll get that. But you all have a great evening. And please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you tomorrow.